He's been an award-winning media personality and producer. As a speaker, he's empowered over 1 million people from the stage. Now one of the leading business coaches and brand experts is taking over the world of on-demand audio. It's the Business Bully Podcast. Now here's the business bully himself, Dave Anderson.
Yo, right now, man, on the Business Bully Show, right now, I'm so excited, man. This is the brother who I feel like really gets it in when it comes to pop culture, sports, entertainment. This dude really brings the ruckus for all these fake motherfuckers. Right now, my man from TMZ and TMZ Sports, VanLathans, is on the show. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you having me, dog.
Hey, man, I'm happy to have you, bro. Lots of things to talk about. Let's get to it. First and foremost, for people who don't know your background, you know, how did you get started? You know, where are you from? How'd you grow up? All that good stuff.
I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was living and working out in Baton Rouge for the first 25 years of my life. Went to school out there, finished out there. And then around 2005, I don't know if you guys heard, but there was a weather event that happened in South Louisiana and kind of, you know, rejiggered some people's thought processes, and that happened to me. I was able to make some connections, and not to use something that massive as a personal sign, because obviously a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of things change irreparably from Hurricane Katrina. But for me, I sort of used it as a sign that it was time for me to move on and move out to Los Angeles. That's something I have been kind of putting off. It just, you know, being a part of something where civilization was reduced to nothing, things changed for me a little bit. So I came out to LA, worked for a little while producing smaller clip shows and writing and producing that stuff. So the opportunity came around 2000 with the TMZ tour. I started doing that, helped develop that, and then within about 3 or 4 months, or really 2 months of me being employed there, he put me on the show, and then now I'm a senior producer there.
Yeah. Yo, like, it is so fun sometimes to watch you because, like, you be getting it in. Like, do you ever have a moment, like, when you're doing the live show where, like, Harvey will say something and it's like you want to choke the shit out of him?
Yeah, I didn't get you. You're breaking up a little bit, brother.
Let me try that again. Do you ever have a moment? Do you ever have a moment on the show when you're live and you're talking about a very sensitive topic, and Harvey says something kind of fucked up that you just really want to choke the snot out of him for like 3 seconds?
Do I want to choke him? No. No, I don't want to choke him, because let me tell you what I've learned sort of working at TMZ or working anywhere where the ideas that I have or the perspective that I have might not align with the mainstream or the dominating voices in the room. What I've learned is that there are 2 ways to deal with someone who's disagreeing with you. The first way, which I did earlier on at TMZ, is to use the power of your ideas to shout that person down. That is a great way if you believe that you're right and you know that they're wrong. Even more so, it's not even much as it is. That was my bad. That was your man. That was the brother Charlamagne the God trying to tap into our conversation right now. I'm gonna hit him back. But if you know that someone's wrong, it's very easy about anything. This is not specific to Harvey. This is to anything that's going on. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to use the logic of your ideas to shout that person down. Okay. Right. And that's good, right? Especially when you're trying to establish your view as something merit-worthy. However, you're not going to build a ton of bridges that way. Right. So what I've learned to do, specifically on TMZ Live or anything else, is put forth the programming, not to Harvey or not to who I'm talking about, but to the audience. Put forth the programming to the audience and leave it out there and let people accept it or reject it. I think sometimes as Black people or even as a Southern man sometimes, the main problem that we have is that we tell people about our experiences or about things that we've gone through or about the way we understand life. And even after we articulate it to them, they still won't accept it. They won't accept that what we're saying is actual because it's at cross purposes with their experience. And so when I'm talking to Harvey or anyone like that, actually at this point, even when I get heated, I never want to choke them because all I want to do is make sure that the audience hears my side of it. And as long as I have the platform to do that, I don't need to choke anybody.
That's a good thing. I was being facetious. I don't want you to lose your gig. I feel like, you know, you're too important because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, to me, it's like Van always says the shit that I want to say. Because I'm like, God damn it. If, like, all right, where's Van? Get the camera on Van, God damn it. I'll be in my house watching this shit like, yo, camera 3, where the fuck y'all at? Now, here's the thing, right? When you look at somebody like, you know, like Nina, who left TMZ and she's doing like Love and Hip Hop Reunion, she's beasting, you know, she's got a certain air, a certain demeanor, a certain level of class, very charming young lady, right? And this is not in any way to disparage anybody, but I want to bring clarity to a situation because I'm a big believer in when fans ask me questions, because I ask the fans, I'm like, yo, I'm going to ask Van some shit. What y'all want to know? The question keeps coming up. How does Van, as a Black man, deal with Raquel on a daily basis, knowing her mom is a rocket scientist and she's acting like she ain't got no sense?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I would say this, and I say this all the time. People have to understand, like at TMZ, there's the way that you're sort of judged as an employee is based upon how much you produce, right? It's based on the stories you can get. It's based upon your viability in the office is based upon your skill set. Right. And there are a few producers, not just at TMZ, but anywhere that have the skill set and the expertise and can break a story like Raquel Kane. Some of the biggest stories, some of the most major things we've done have come off of her back. So the first thing I tell those people is that Raquel is really good at her job. The second thing that I would say is that it's nothing for me to deal with Raquel. She's like my worst sister, and the reason being is because, you know, I grew up like Raquel is my aunt. Raquel is my cousin. Raquel is all the same people. I know what she's trying to say. I know what I know exactly what she's trying to say. I know exactly how she's trying to come across. I know exactly what her worldview is because, you know, we all from a certain place. And secondly, I think that like there's a little bit of a double standard there, and I think it's a double standard that we as Black people need to move away from. And I'll tell you what I mean. If you had somebody on there that was super country sounding, that was from, I don't know, the backwoods, the Ozarks, the Appalachians, or something like that, and they had a deep, deep drawl, and it was hard to understand them, but they were right. You would not have. I don't feel like you'd have as many white people or as many people going, yo, man, how does the rest of the, like when Max was there, the surfer guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't incredibly articulate. He actually part of his charm was that Max is a very smart guy, but part of his charm was that he sometimes said bubble-headed things. Sometimes he was like a surfer dude. He was out of there. Right. But with her, they want to judge her by a different standard, and I think that's because as Black people, when we see somebody on television, we don't want to put forth the effort. We don't want to put forth the image that a lot of white people have of us, and and Black people are prone to get embarrassed by things. And my point is, when I hear that sentiment, is who are you embarrassed in front of? Right. Like what? Like are you? Why is it hard to be around Raquel? Why is it hard to listen to Raquel? Why do you cringe? You cringe because white people see Raquel and they're going to make a judgment off of Black people based upon how Raquel acts. Well, if they do that, that's their problem. Right. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're several different voices in the room. There's myself, there's Charles, there's other people in there that are talking. So there is a variety of different ways, different syntaxes, different speech patterns that we use.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you choose that one? So I don't have a problem with him. I think I don't have a problem with her. She's my sister. I think sometimes she gets wild. For the betterment of her, I try to box her in a little bit sometimes, but nah,
right.
man, it's like it's all gravy from here.
Right. I think because the thing that I think folks are getting at is okay, your mom's a rocket scientist. Is this an act or is this really you? Because we don't know her. All we do is
be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm skeptical about that rocket scientist shit. I tell her all the time, man. I tell her that all the time, man. I know her mom works at an aerospace company, but I ain't seen no equations, dog. I ain't seen, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't seen no formulas yet?
I ain't seen no formulas, man. I ain't seen no rockets. But I have spoken to her mother before. Her mother's a very, very nice lady and a very smart woman, as is Raquel.
Right.
Raquel, I think, went to Hampton, graduated, member of the NABJ, all of that stuff. So Raquel straight, man. And it's not an act. That's who she is. That's who she is all the time. Word.
That's what's up. Let's switch gears for a second because I don't want to make this whole thing a TMZ conversation. Let's switch just a little bit, though. Do you feel like you have a little bit more autonomy when you're on TMZ Sports than when you're actually on TMZ Live?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that I have more time, more camera time because, when I'm the co-host of TMZ Sports. At TMZ Live, I'm a contributor. So I think on TMZ Live, it's a different show. Mm-hmm. Where the subjects on TMZ Live, TMZ Sports are less political. Mm-hmm. They're more. I'm a TMZ Sports producer, so the subject matter is more. I've cultivated it a little bit more. Yeah. So no, I don't have more autonomy. I'm just on there more. I'm one of the hosts, so I'm always static, always on the screen. Mm-hmm. But nah, on TMZ Live. Harvey's favorite thing to do on TMZ Live is to go back and forth with me. Right. So I have total autonomy. The one thing about TMZ, no opinions are repressed or anything like that. I have total autonomy in both shows. I'm just on TMZ Sports more. Yeah.
That makes sense. So you got a podcast now, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. You super popping. Show black ass. You fly. Van stay winning. Yeah. So talk, go ahead.
For it. No, I'm saying no. You were saying you were.
No, so talk to me about this podcast for people who have not heard it. Explain what it is. Explain the concept behind it.
Okay, so this podcast is called VanLathans the Red Pill, and the reason why we named it that is because we couldn't find a better name. Couldn't think of anything else. But no, it's just, listen, I've made some relationships throughout my time at TMZ, and I wanted to give people a forum to come in and really kind of delve in deeper to the way that we perceive them. My first guest was Tay Diggs, a guy who's been a friend of mine for a very, very long time. I feel like there's a certain perception of Tay that's out there, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to really go in and kind of not really rip up, but take a deep dive into the perception of him and tell people how he really comes off and the things that have really made up his life since he's been in the public eye. We had Charlamagne on there, and we just kind of talked about some different situations that that he's been in and how he looks at things. And, Dame Dash is another homie of mine, and then we had Evelyn and Shawnee from the Basketball Wives, and all of those people talked about different things in their lives that sort of the juxtaposition about how they're perceived to how things really are. Going forward, we're going to attack some issues. Yeah. But I think that the importance of the podcast, it's important for me on the podcast to give people a deeper sense of myself as it is for the guests. We won't always have guests. I think the only frustrating thing about being at TMZ, and I obviously enjoy my employment there, but the only frustrating thing about it is that people get you in doses.
Right.
They get you in small doses on the show. They get you on in small doses on live and news hits and all that other stuff that I do. And I want to give people long form Van, like a whole fucking Van symphony. So it's been fun to have the opportunity to do that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I mean, I get it, man. I'm on the road probably 6 months out of the year.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, man, like it's a grind. Like
you selling that much dope?
No, I'm closing. I'm teaching people how to close that many deals.
I feel you. Oh shit! The impressive black man. Okay, I got you.
No, Black Gary V, bitch. No, no, like that's what wound up happening. Like after, like I've had several like major breaks in my career. Once I retired from radio, it was one of those things where, look, I'm gonna go ahead and make this money. And so I started writing books and coaching people. And I did the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne one time. And then all of a sudden I kept getting these emails. Yo, I love you. You like a Black Gary V. I fuck with you, da, 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 da. And then I'm like, yo, who the fuck is Gary V? And why y'all keep comparing me to this dude? Right. So I go see the boy, and we talk, we chop it up. It's all gravy and rice, no beef. But, it's a different type of vibe. And I think you understand that, when you do what we do, wearing what we wear, meaning this, you sometimes have to run faster, jump higher to get half as much. And For me, I don't care. I've been running and jumping my whole life. And so it's weird how people have a perception of you based on, like millions of YouTube videos or, you know what I'm saying, talks that they see, and it's not real. Like, it's not your whole thing. Like, I got a whole family. I got daughters. I got, you know what I'm saying, businesses to run, things to do. So how do you reconcile public perception versus self-awareness?
Well, I think for me right now, what I would like to say, what the answer I would like to give is I don't really care about the public perception.
Right.
Of course, that's not entirely true.
Right.
I think that there are people in my life, people that are close to me, that I want to make sure that I don't, because in the past, just being a wild boy, I've said and done things on the show that, got me in trouble when I came home, if you know what I mean.
I feel you.
And I think as I grow up and I become a more mature man, and I realize that things that I say are consumed by millions of people, and there's responsibility in that. But personally, I have a goal. And I have a goal to create things that are memorable and nourishing. I want to nourish people with the things that I create, the conversations that I have. I just don't want to do anything that people can't eat and digest and gain some sort of nourishment for. And that means in content creation and writing and producing and all of that stuff. And what I do on the show, whenever I have a moment on the show, I want to make sure that I'm in my mind and not in my feelings, so that I can give the best representation of myself. Now, my public persona, I think, while I've lost the degree of anonymity that most people have, it's still not to a point to where it's something I have to be concerned about. You know what I mean? So it's not like I have to be like, yo, this, like, I got to keep it on the low, tuck. It's like the most annoying thing about the little bit of celebrity that I have is that it's not enough. And I'll tell you why. Like, if you see Brad Pitt, like, sitting down, you're going to take a picture, right? Right. You're going to see Brad, oh shit, that's Brad Pitt. I'm going to take a picture of you. See Jay-Z, Beyonce, you're going to take a picture of them, right? What you're not going to do is go try to strike up a conversation with them. You know why? Because they're too famous. It's the fucking opposite with me. When people see me, they come over there and we got to talk. We got to have a long ass conversation. It always ends up in, how do I get a job at TMZ? And so whereas that doesn't bother me, it seems like an asshole to even complain about it. It's like, that's the thing. And so the only public persona that I really have that I have to be concerned about is remembering to be nice, remembering to be polite, remembering that I'm blessed, and any minor inconvenience that I might have is just part of the blessing, because God always gives you enough flyness that you can fly, but every once in a while, he just wants you to kind of soar close to the ground so you remember who's down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm above anyone. I'm just saying it's important for me to remember that I'm not anybody special, and I'm still, soaring, trying to do my thing.
Yeah. Where's the book, Van?
My book is coming.
Yeah, like we need the book.
My book is coming, man. We shout out to Karen Kinney, my manager. We're shopping the book. We got a couple of meetings with Penguin. We're doing 2 books. 2 books. One book is about the journey that I had losing 150 pounds and about how life was different after that happened. And the other book is the Black Man's Survival Guide, How to Thrive in America.
Amen.
Because when you're a black man, you got 2 things. You're trying to survive and thrive.
At the same time.
At the same time, because it doesn't matter how important you get, they can kill you at any minute.
For real.
So you're trying to survive and thrive at the same time. So I'm getting with some luminaries, some people that I respect. Told you Charlamagne just hit me up. Him, Anthony Tiffith, Top Dog, some other guys, and just kind of going to get some stories from them on how you survive and thrive in America. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it's hectic. I remember, and I've only told this story a few times. I remember when Charlamagne was going to take the gig in New York with Wendy, and I hit him up. Didn't know him, hit him up. And I was like, yo, I've been where you about to go. Like, do it. Like, don't hesitate. Do it. Like, you'll love it. And he was like, all right. I'm like, yo, because I said, you don't want to be the dude who just is famous for, cussing out Buffy the Body. You want to be the dude that's
I remember that joint.
Yo, like, that shit was ill. But, like, there's so many, like, I wish people, like, knew the real Charlamagne stories. Like, the shit that nobody sees. Like, we were in, God, where were we? We were in, God, Minneapolis. So we was in Minneapolis, and we're at Fogo de Chao. Now, Fogo de Chao ain't no goddamn, Lebec Finn or some shit. It ain't like, it's a step up from, like, Checkers. It's a step up from, like, Chili's or some shit. But it ain't anything that's, like, particularly, fancy.
Right.
So we're in there. It's me and, like, I would say at the table, probably a good combined net worth of about $7-8 million.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just radio luminaries.
Right.
And so we're sitting there, and the guy comes up, the waiter comes up, and he's like, listen, do y'all want to bring out the drink tray? And we're like, yeah. And he was like, look, don't have me bring out the drink tray if y'all ain't going to order no drinks. And so guess what color everybody at the table was?
What? Oh, they were white people?
No, everybody at the table was black. The waiter was white. And he was like,
he was trying to play y'all.
Yeah. So I look at Charlamagne, and now when I'm in the room, like, I'm not, Charlamagne's the rational one. Charlamagne's the one that's like, yo, chill, don't. And I'm like, the fuck did you just say?
Right.
The fuck did you say? So by the time I got through with this motherfucker, I had his manager over. We all had shots. It was like Louis, just every possible ridiculous, ghetto-ass, ridiculously expensive rapper shot we had, man. And Charlamagne was like, I can't believe you did that, man. Like, I'm like, you can't believe nigga, you're the most disrespectful person I know. Yeah. I'm like, but I'm not going to stand for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The crazy thing is when he were like, that's a gracious ass nigga, man. Like,
he really is.
When he keeps it 100, well, that's the gracious ass guy. That's one of the relationships, and there have been a bunch of relationships. Obviously, me and Harvey's relationship. I know Harvey is problematic to a lot of the culture and a lot of people, but I would be silly if I didn't act like my life hasn't been completely transformed and positively changed by Harvey, the relationship that I have with him. And even more so, not just professionally, but the insights and sort of the belief that he showed in me has been tremendous. He does not always get it right when it comes to saying things or takes on our community. I get it, but I give him credit for listening and making and with an open mind and trying to understand, you know what I mean, and not putting his thumbprint on things. But that relationship, our relationship with Charlamagne, we're like brothers, and there's a couple of other people. Everybody needs people that have those stories like what you just said, people that have been through sort of the transformation that you're trying to go through, that you can talk to, man. People that have that, you know, when you need to make a move or when you need to kind of have to bounce ideas off people that you can talk to. And Charlamagne definitely is that for me, for sure.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I think, you know, Harvey has some problematic things about him, but he's not Andy Cohen. Yeah. I mean, Jesus. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's levels. Like, to me, Harvey's like, he's just the white Jewish guy who just doesn't fucking get everything, but he gets some shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is because he's analytical. He's a lawyer. He's been around the business for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain shit that just flies over his head. Whereas though Andy Cohen understands this shit and is manipulating the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know that much about Andy Cohen, but what I do know is that
that's my opinion, not Van's.
Right? No. You know, listen, we got we run the whole gamut of Andy Cohen opinions, but I don't know too much about him. But what I do know is there is a difference. There's a difference between not being up on something and being so up on it that you can manipulate it. Yep. And I think as far as me and Raquel and Charles, our goal is to make sure that if you decide to run with something, that you did it on purpose. So if you're gonna have an idea, I'm just gonna say, yo, that's not how it is. But I take with anyone, with any minority group, be it women, be it whatever, forget about minority group, any group that wants to be represented in a certain light. The only thing that you can really do is make sure that your marginalization is no accident. And I know that sounds silly to say, but what I mean by that is if someone is going to do something to you, don't let them use "I didn't know" as an excuse.
Right.
And if it is the excuse the first time, it can't be the excuse the second time, because the "I didn't know" or "I wasn't aware" will be played to death until the end of time, until we have no resources left. So your job is to just be like, nah, it's actually not like this. And then if you can't get them to accept the program, you build it yourself.
Yeah, pretty damn much. So, yeah, I mean, to that question, the answer then becomes, is VanLathans the Red Pill your foray into building an infrastructure around content creation for yourself?
I mean, listen, eventually everybody wants to have their own shop, right? I think I've told, I think right now I'm in business with a great group of people, and I'm happy where I'm at right now, but I'm never going to be comfortable until one day I'm like blah 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 blah, like this that. I think the good thing about the podcast is that for the first time I'm actually calling the shots on how I want it to look, how I want it to feel. Don't get me wrong, I have a fantastic team of people that are helping me produce it, both at TMZ and at Loudspeakers Network, where I'm at right now with the podcast's house. Chris Moreau and all of those guys are fantastic. And to be honest with you, the Brilliant Idiots, Andrew Schultz, all of those guys that have really helped me get it out there, all been instrumental to helping it do. But yeah, right now this is something that I'm doing that I get to take control of, and I get to take the reins, and it gets to be a little bit about me. And it's not from the ego side of things. It's just from the side of, you want to always get to a spot so that you know just exactly how much expertise you have in something. You want to know how good you are at something. And if I'm going to be the point guy, I want to know what I need to learn. So as much as, the podcast is as much about me figuring out what it is that I don't know as anything else.
That makes sense. Finish this sentence. The one thing I want the world to know about me that they probably would be surprised about is...
Wow, great question.
That's all I ask, bro. That's all
right. The one thing... You know what? I'm not angry.
Who thinks you're angry?
Some people, like, you would be surprised, man. Like I'm not angry. Like, there's people that write in and call in TMZ Van is a racist, Van hates white people and stuff like that. Like, I don't hate white people. I'm just not here for the fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate anyone. I'm really dedicated to not making the same mistakes that our fathers and our grandfathers made. And they didn't even know there were mistakes when they made them. They were just living life in America.
Right.
So I don't. The show. Like, I'm an easy guy to get along with. I'm a nice, funny, gregarious guy. But if you put me in a situation sometimes where it seems like it's 15 against 1, I'm gonna let the nigga out a little bit on you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
you know,
I don't understand. Where's the lie? I'm trying to understand.
You know what I'm saying? So,
all day.
right.
Oh man, that's crazy. What is the one thing that has eluded you that you really, really want? It does not material, but what is the one thing that you really want that you haven't gotten yet?
One thing that I really want that I haven't gotten is something I'm going to get pretty soon. It's like to have a family. You know what I mean? I think the last 7 X amount of years, 7 to 8 years, I've been going so hard that I haven't really put, like, you know, when you say you got daughters and you got all of that stuff like that, like, that's like something that all of my friends and even some of these other guys that I'll talk to, they all have that. And I think that it's very, you know, my father would say, I would always talk to my dad, and I'll tell my dad, you know, I want to be this voice, and I want to be this guy who people want to use. Like, the first thing you have to do is be able to be responsible and a leader in your own household. A lot of the stuff that plagues our brothers right now is that we're not getting that on-the-job training about leading and affecting lives right now as much as we should, because not enough of us are active fathers. Yeah. And so when you're an active father, you know how you can put your thumbprint on somebody's life, and you know how important it is to be an example of somebody. So right now, a lot of the things that a lot of the ideas and a lot of the sort of values that I hold, they're just values for me. They're just values for me, but they don't really affect other people because I don't have like a family. But don't worry about it. I'm working on that.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, it really is a simple process. First thing you want to do, no. Oh man, no, I mean, but that's why I started Black Boys Win, because there's an incessant need for someone to step in and say, hey, look, you can do this, you can do that. Right. Let me show you some things. But yeah, I mean, we all got a way of getting to the top of the mountain. Now, when you look at your career, answer this. When I got to my current level of success, the one thing that I was shocked by was
how many people viewed me as successful. Because, and I know that seems like a weird answer.
No, it's not.
At TMZ, things move so fast,
right?
And they move so fast. A week goes by; it seems like a day. Also, we're there for a very long time. We work. We get there at 6 a.m. and then we work till around 4:30 or 5. It doesn't seem like it's that long, but it is. And so there's not a lot of going out. There's not a lot of this and not a lot of that for us. But whenever I go somewhere and I run into someone that I really, really have a lot of respect for, they'll always have something to say, like, yo, man, I saw when you said this, or blah, 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 blah. So when I got to my level of success, I didn't realize that people had a certain view of me. And when I began to realize that, I began to realize just what an opportunity it was to be where I'm at, and how thankful I have to be, and how I have to continue to motivate myself to expand and to capitalize on the spot that I have. So because I didn't realize that there were so many eyes that saw the show. I didn't realize that so many people looked at it like, yo, I've had what you told me earlier. Mm-hmm. like that, like when you say something that feels like that's something that I would have said, you'd be surprised at some of the names that I've heard that same sentiment from.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was one of the most shocking things, and was also one of the things that was sort of most humbling, and really the most important.
Yeah, I mean, representation matters, man. And
sure,
I didn't ask for this. You know what I'm saying? And like when people say, look, I'm happy you're there because my son sees you doing this, that, and the third. I can't get through to him like you do. When I see you doing what it is that you're doing, I see parts of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like that's what I would say. Like, I mean, I've had like at my heaviest, I was 651 pounds. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Yeah. Like, but no surgery. Like, so I'm constantly like, I've changed my name to Jim Daly because I'm in the gym daily.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, it's a struggle. And I tell folks, like, look, you ain't getting me under that damn knife. It's a whole lot of brothers go to the Cedar Sinai. They ain't coming in out. Nope. Right. No surgery. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a kinship there. And I feel like it's important to understand that it's not just us. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of just saying, we're just entertainers. We're just, cultural specialists, whatever you want to call us. It's a situation where people look and live, I don't want to say vicariously, but vicariously through the messages that we give, on our respective platforms. What is the worst confrontation you've had as a result of doing a story that someone didn't appreciate?
0.
Boy, you lucky.
No, let me tell you something now. And this is something that's very important to know. They don't treat us like that. And the reason why they don't treat us like that is because all of that static that you see between people that have said stuff, we only treat each other that way. Like Harvey doesn't roll around with any security. With all of the stuff that gets said on TMZ or anything like that, they're like, black people only treat each other that way. They only treat like, you said this about me, or I'm gonna do this. Like in the culture, I know some of the other people that I had, that I know, my homie, DJ Vlad or people like that they've had issues with. Within it from stories they've done and stuff like that. Nobody runs up on TMZ that way. Not because they're scared of us, just because we're outside of the culture. I guess it's seen as something that would be more severe, or there's a familiarity in the community to where we have a certain we treat each other in a certain way, and it's never happened to me. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and now that I've said that, watch what happens like next week or some shit like that. But I've had awkward situations. I've had situations to where, I know that people aren't thrilled that the TMZ nigga is in there, but I haven't had any situations where anyone's come up to me and barked on me for something that we've done on the show. Not even close. All I get is love.
Yeah. No, man, it's just a beautiful situation. So, random ass question: how do you feel about Ronda Rousey signing with the WWE?
Good for her. Shit, what else could we do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Good for her. I mean, like, it's like they did it her in the UFC. She wasn't gonna be able to have listen. Ronda Rousey is. We've all seen this happen before in athletics, right? We've seen the phenom that, for whatever reason, couldn't stand the test of time, or not even couldn't stand the test of time. Whenever you set a bar that high, you're daring people to catch up to it. You're daring people to jump it. And they always jump it, dog. They always jump it. There hasn't been anyone besides maybe Jordan who has set a high bar in sports, and people haven't said, I got to get there, and they've gotten there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So with Rousey, I felt like it was a natural transition for her to go from the UFC to the WWE, because she's still one of the biggest celebrities in combat sports. Yep. Even if she's not one of the best fighters. And so why not go to a place where you can script it out where you win and stop getting kicked in the face? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but while I always tell people you don't get points for yesterday's game, without Ronda, you don't have women in the UFC. not on that level. Like, I mean, she built the whole, she built the whole situation. And it's funny. I tell folks all the time, I'm like, yo, because people don't believe that Ronda Rousey's grandfather, great-grandfather is black. And I was, black dude. I'm like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, that part, that drop right there, that's us.
Right, exactly. We, like, man, listen, people they tried to use the one drop rule back in the day to shame us, and now try to change the rule. Nah, man, we sticking to it. One drop, you with us.
That's it. Y'all know y'all can't claim that. Oh, man. Do you have, like, if in fact you couldn't do what you were doing, do you have something completely outside of entertainment, media, that you would want to do with your life?
I would have wanted to be a pastor.
What?
Yeah. I think about it all the time now, actually. I would have wanted to be a pastor. I think that that as I get older, like my relationship with God and my spirituality, it like changes, and and I think that I look like a guy that I really bounce a lot of ideas off of is Carl Lentz, over there, at Hillsong, and I think that especially as connected as we are by the internet, it seems like we're more disconnected as people. And I think one reason why we're so disconnected is the lack of spirituality that exists. Not one specific God or one specific doctrine or one specific faith, but we don't feel connected to the human condition anymore because we don't worship and celebrate a higher power together. Now, that's just my personal belief. And you don't have to believe that for me to be cool with you. But what I'm saying is that I like to see people who are working to build that connectivity within human beings. Sure, we might believe in different ways, but let's share spirits and share souls and share goals in a way that makes us feel like we're all doing this for the same reasons. And I think whereas sort of the internet and all that stuff like that, it's good that people are able to find their own personal niches and that they don't feel like weirdos anymore when they want to do whatever it is that they want to do. That's amazing. I do feel like just sort of looking at the sun together, realizing that there's a oneness in humanity, that there's a oneness in sort of what it is that we're here on this earth for. I feel like pastors and religious leaders and spiritual leaders have they have an advantage in conveying those messages. And I just wonder somehow, like how many people I could have affected on a much, much larger level had I chosen to do that,
Yeah. I mean, you also got to look at it like this, man. Like, you still young, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to happen when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen?
Nah, man. So something I think about, but I'm going to empower another pastor because I want to go to the Oscars.
You know what? I hate you so much. I'm going to empower another pastor because I want to go to. I ain't mad though. I really ain't mad, man.
Wait, the Oscars, order NAACP awards, man. Either one.
Thank you.
We gotta big up our own. We gotta big up our own, man. The Image Awards, Soul Train Awards. Just give me something for the mantle.
Yeah.
I'm a 2-time Emmy nominee. I don't know if y'all know that. Yeah, 2-time.
Them credentials.
2-time.
All right. Well, having said that, let me ask you this: when it comes to awards and shit, what's your take on this Bruno Mars shit?
It's complicated. I mean, look, it's complicated, right? Because, listen, it's one of those things that's really, really hard to explain because to people who aren't of our culture. Because Bruno Mars is phenomenally talented.
Yes,
and he really loves the music, and he really pays homage to the people who've done it before him.
That's a
but
fact.
At the same time, there's shreds of truth in the idea that the young lady put forth that people would rather see black art from non-black people, and I think that that's like an indisputable fact that's been proven over the course of generations. I think that we have to start looking at things for what they are, though. I think there was a time when it was very easy for Pat Boone, or to a lesser degree Elvis Presley, even though he is the poster boy culprit for cultural appropriation. It was a time when it was easier for these guys to come in and just like, people don't know that that Hound Dog is a cover.
Yeah,
I mean,
Big Mama Thornton.
Right. So it was very easy to wash black people away and their cultural accomplishments at a certain point, and it's just not the same now. I mean, and it's not the same now, I would say, because of young ladies like her, because of people that are continuously going to hold people accountable for their proclivities, whether or not they're innate or whether or not they're on purpose. So it's going to be harder to do. However, the best thing for Bruno Mars to do, or any artist that's in that position, is just to take that medicine. And the reason why I say just take that medicine, just take it. The reason why you got to take it is because we invented that music. We invented that culture. And if you're going to do it, there are going to be certain people that have to say about it. Just so go sing your songs, dog. Like, it's cool. Don't even fret it, because he's so good at what he does.
Right.
We're going to listen to Bruno Mars, and it doesn't even make sense to be like, oh, man, that's so wrong. It just is what it is. Deal with it. Move on. You know, it's not unfair. It's unfair what happened to generations of black musicians before him. Right. And that's not going to happen now. And so I don't think that Bruno Mars is guilty of anything, but I think the conversation is a necessary one. And unfortunately, he got caught in the crosshairs this time.
Right. You know, I think I equate Bruno Mars to Pacquiao. You know, there's a period where Pacquiao was just all right. Then all of a sudden, he started popping. Right. You know, and my whole thing is, you can track Bruno Mars's professional singing career, and then he goes on tour with Janelle Monáe. He comes off that tour, and all of a sudden he's got a pompadour on, he's wearing black and white shit. He's got a whole backup band. Like, it's the same act, bro.
You think he took Janelle Monáe PEDs?
Yeah.
And now
all day. And I think we need Olympic style doping on this motherfucker. But my whole thing is, I'm an equal opportunity asshole when it comes to this shit, because if I'm going to attack Bruno, and when I say attack, I'm saying accuse you of doing what it is that's obviously happening. I have that issue with him. I've got that issue with Sam Smith. I've got that issue with Eminem. Now, people are like, well, why do you have the issue with Eminem? And I'm like, I am the worst thing since Elvis Presley to do black music so selfishly and use it to get myself wealthy. And then you look at the BET Awards, he got mad because Trump didn't respond to him.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that tells me that your motive in doing that was not to wake people up, but to get Trump's attention.
So that you could start a beef. Yeah, I think that's what Joe said that got him in trouble with some of the people who are very shady. Listen, it's like it's tricky for him, but it's supposed to be.
Hey, it's what you signed up for, bro. I ain't
right.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Smith, another one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do this. Justin Timberlake's a huge one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you walking around getting weaved in cornrows and whatnot and trying to sing R&B on R&B stations, but yet still. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ripped Janet's titty off, but was singing Mike's songs. And if you go back and listen to that first solo album, a lot of those songs were rejected by Mike's camp, because Pharrell submitted those songs to Mike.
They were some of them, like, a lot of them were produced for the History album.
Yeah.
And it didn't. Yeah, but even in that situation, Pharrell and those guys are Pharrell couldn't get those songs to Michael Jackson. He got them to Justin Timberlake. So, it's always
right.
Like,
it's layered.
They're layers. But Justin got to take your medicine. You made a lot of money, man. We love you, Justin Timberlake. Just take your medicine, man. Niggas is fighting back. So be it. Right, like take your medicine, dog. Don't chirp.
Yo, take your medicine. Take this. Just take your motherfucking red pill, bitch.
Yeah,
man,
just take it.
Like, bro, this has been more awesome than I could have ever hoped, man.
Appreciate it, bro. I hope you have me back, man.
Hey, man, I'd love to have you back, man. I'm waiting for me to come on your show.
Whenever you're in LA, just let me know.
Hey, man, it's nothing, man. Where can people get a hold of you? How do people find you? What do you want them to know? Any of that good shit.
At VanLathans on Instagram. on Twitter. I'm less active on Instagram. It's just a bunch of ads and stuff like that. Y'all not gonna get my personal life, but the Red Pill Podcast. That's how you can get to know me. VanLathans, the Red Pill Podcast on SoundCloud, on iTunes, anywhere podcasts are sold. Tune in. We'd love to have you listen to it.
Want free business and marketing tips from Dave? Text Business Bully to 31996. That's Business Bully to 31996. Standard data and text message rates apply.